Welcome back to Backyard Trash Talk Week 11. When you double the one, you double the fun. We're out here today. Rainy evening, but I'm excited. A lot to cover.
All right. We're here. We're ready.
Lot to cover. I'm excited about tonight. Chris, how you been feeling lately?
I've been good. Little plug. Just got the Facebook page going.
Yeah.
So have your mom and dad follow us on Facebook.
Dinosaurs
your grandparents
can follow us too. Yeah.
No, just kidding. There's still kids on Facebook these days.
Believe it or not.
Just trying to reach out.
20-year-olds
all
plus.
the audience.
I know my demographics.
Yes. Anyway, at Backyard Trash Talk, follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram, obviously, and YouTube. So we're trying to hit all the touch all the bases.
Touch all the bases.
Touch them all.
Absolutely. So, Chris, a lot happening in our show tonight. I think you're going to kick us off.
Wow,
with the segment.
We got a packed show tonight.
Huge show.
Huge guest coming on later. But let's start it off. John, sound the alarm, sound the buzzer. We got a 4 for 4 alert.
4 for 4.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah. Better than Wendy's.
Better than Wendy's. We got our 4 for 4.
Yeah.
If you remember last time, we ranked the top 4 sports moments of all time. We had a lot of debate going on in the chat. A lot of it. So
the David Tyree catch, definitely a great one to put in there. And then obviously there's other sports moments you could have put in there, but
there you go.
The Tyree one kept coming up. I like that one.
All right, well, John, I guess he doesn't even know it, but he's foreshadowing for this segment.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight in our 4 for 4, I'm going to give John the top 4 sports upsets of all time.
Oh.
I'm going to give him 4, and he's going to rank them 4 to 1.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Number 1, 1980, Miracle on Ice.
Okay.
The USA hockey team upsets the Soviets.
Yep.
Biggest upset at the time, if not ever. You're going to rank them.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We had a bunch of college kids going up against the Soviets who were unbeatable, never been beaten.
Yeah.
Beat them in the third place game. Go on to win the gold medal.
Yes.
All right.
Solid movie. I think it was Al Michaels who
did
the announcing.
We'll get there to your
commentary.
All right.
Let
me just introduce you.
All right. So that's one. Okay.
Right.
That's
Number 2.
One option.
Number 2. You foreshadowed it. Pats versus Giants Super Bowl.
Man, call me the prophet.
New England Patriots came in undefeated, arguably one of the best NFL teams of all time. Giants come in, no one expects it. Eli Manning leads a late drive. Plaxico Burress, late game touchdown.
Yep.
Set up with the David Tyree catch.
Yep.
As you foreshadowed. Amazing play.
Yep.
All right, number 3. We're kicking it to 2007. Michigan Wolverines versus Appalachian State. A small, not even D1 football program comes into the big house.
Yes.
Into the big house and upsets Michigan on a late blocked field goal.
Yes.
That's number 3. And finally, number 4, our hometown Golden Retrievers, UMBC, upsets last year. John is too excited. He's coughing everywhere.
Yeah.
They upset the UVA
Virginia
Cavaliers.
This can be
in the first round of the tournament. First 16 seed to win a tournament game. John, there's your 4.
Ooh.
Let's rank them, baby.
Okay. I'm going to go number 4. I'm going to go. This is tough. When it's on the spot, it's like, this is, I think this one's even harder.
And these are all like 4, like very, they're all great.
I'm going to get flack no matter which way I go.
That's all right.
I'm going to go number 4. I'm going to go. I'm going to go the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Patriots undefeated, beat by the Giants. I think there's every justification to put this first, but incredible game, incredible finale. But they had 2 weeks to prepare for the Patriots, right? This is not just kind of another game on the schedule. Like they knew this is it. This is the big dance. And so I'm going to put this at 4, although the catch made this so much more of a staple. Definitely incredible. Number 3, I'm going to go with Appalachian State upsetting the Michigan Wolverines.
Wow.
And this is why this takes number 3 over the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Super Bowl, bigger stage. I'll get you. Big house, the big house, biggest football stadium. I think the biggest stadium in the United States, and a lot of big programs pay these smaller schools an obnoxious amount of money to come in there to get their butts whooped. How they did it was supposed to be a field goal for Michigan. Appalachian State blocks the kick and goes and scores. And I am a little biased. My buddy went to Appalachian State. I've been to Appalachian State. Every local restaurant has a picture of the kick on Sports Illustrated magazines everywhere, right? So that play is still there. Actually, in fact, when we were there, we used that as an alarm clock because we had a Michigan fan with them. So it was the play-by-play.
Fair. Shout
out OJ, who's a big fan of us. I am a fan of Michigan.
Shout out OJ.
Number 3.
Good shout out.
Number 2, I'm gonna go Retrievers. Retrievers upset Virginia.
Okay.
This has never been done before, a 1 seed losing. Yeah. I think the difference between this and the Super Bowl is this. This has never been done before. Plenty of teams have beaten undefeated teams. Maybe not in the Super Bowl, maybe not as much success, but it has happened, and it happens all the time. Like 8, 9, 10-0 teams do get beaten. 15-0, I think the Colts did, but they kind of threw that. This has never been done before. It was unbelievable performance by the Retrievers. I think what made it even better is the fact that they didn't go on. They didn't really make a run.
Lost,
it was just, this is it. So it truly was.
That was their championship.
That was their championship. They were a 16 seed. It did prove out to be. It has never happened in sports. That's why it's number 2 for me. And then number 1, the Miracle on Ice. I'm giving hockey fans some love. Actually, getting texts here and there. Why aren't we doing hockey takes? This is our hockey take. Here it is. I believe Al Michaels was on the call for that, and the final thing that made it the miracle was he said, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes, and then they all went crazy. I think the movie definitely plays into that, kind of seeing a picture of what the background story is in a loose interpretation, of course. But I'm gonna go. The miracle was the number 1 thing. We weren't alive for it, but just what was going on at the time, the history of the United States and Russia. I think you add all of that together, and this was just overwhelmingly a beautiful upset. So those are my 4. Definitely going to get flack for it. Either way I went, but you made it hard for me.
That was tough. I think number 1, I think that's going to be pretty much... That's got to be the biggest sports upset of all time. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I read a couple lists before that, and they all had that at number 1. So I think anything after that, there's going to be a little debate. But just going back to the Miracle on Ice, I mean, we talked about Appalachian State versus Michigan. Those were 2 college teams going at it.
Yeah.
This essentially was a college team versus a pro team.
And
that's pretty much what it was. It was a bunch of college kids, literally straight out of college, because the U.S. didn't allow their NHL players to play in this game. And they took on the Russians, who before then were...
The powerhouse.
The powerhouse, one of the best national teams ever.
Yeah.
And to literally weeks before they got demolished, I think they lost like 12-2 or something like that to the very same team. Come back a few weeks later and beat them.
Yeah.
Got to be the all-time.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make a movie out of a game like that, I mean, come
on. For sure. Speaking of just United States pride, women's national team absolutely slaughters Thailand. Like nothing's coming from Thailand anymore because we've just demolished them. They don't exist anymore. Wins 13-0. Alex Morgan goes off. Definitely 2 takes to this. In your opinion, was it disrespectful for the women's national team to essentially run up the score and win 13-0? What is your take on that?
No, definitely not.
You were an American.
And yes, of course. And I was trying to look up this quote. I think Bobby Bowden said it before. I think it was some college football coach. But he said, "It's my job to score and it's your job to stop me." And that's what I believe. Like, the goal is to put goals on the board. And that's what they're there to do. If you can't stop them, that's your problem. And again, I want to take back this Scott Van Pelt take from a couple months ago of when Tom Izzo berated his players. And people were all upset at Tom Izzo. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. But all his players were fine with it. They were like, that's Tom. That's how he coached. We appreciate it. It's tough love.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have opinion if you're not associated with the game or the moment. So the Thailand coach came out and said, it was totally fine. We were just happy to be there. We were just happy to be in the World Cup. So if the opposing team is fine with it, why does anybody else care? Why does it matter?
Yeah. I find this, it's a hard situation. No one wants to lose 13-0.
Yeah.
Two big things from it, though, for me, in my opinion. I find it, as one of the players said, it is more disrespectful to stop trying. And I understand maybe passing it a little bit more or doing things to kind of slow down the game a little bit more and work on other skills. But to completely not try to score, I find disrespectful. And the other thing is I have zero problem with this. But if you lose big, you better not complain about any other team running up the score. That's the only things I have about it. If you're going to beat people bad, and if you end up getting beat bad, you better just keep your mouth shut and shake their hand. That's all I care about. Zero problems with that. Any more comments, or are you good?
I think in a professional sports setting, where everyone's job is that's what they do. They play soccer.
Yeah.
I think it's totally fine to run up the score. When we talk about rec, high school, that's a little different. Kids are just there to have fun.
Yeah.
But this is their job. Like, this is what they do day in, day out. And their job is to put as many points on the board as they can. And I honestly have no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm for it. Okay. So I'm going to kind of give you a rapid fire. We've done rapid fire with team selections, the playoffs with you, Chris. We're going to do rapid fire again. What I'm going to give them is I'm going to give them a football team, and I'm going to say an amount of wins they'll have. So, for example, it could be Cleveland Browns of 2016. I said over, under, one win, something like that. And he has to take the over or the under. Hot take, you don't know who's coming. So here we go. New York Jets over, under 7.5 wins.
Ooh, 7.5. I think that's high. I'm going to take the under on that one.
Under.
They have all kinds of disorganization. They just hired some random GM. They got Todd McShay, who I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah.
He was in contention for a GM.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just some guy on ESPN, not to knock him.
Yeah.
But
and we're pro Mel Kiper here.
Yeah, we're a
huge Mel
Kiper podcast.
Anyways, maybe one day we'll get him on or something.
Maybe. But I'm still not buying into the Sam Darnold hype. Okay. I think he's a good quarterback. Yeah. They got Le'Veon Bell. Case is still out on him. He hasn't played. They don't, in terms of wide receivers, they have Robbie Anderson. That's about it they got going for them. Defense, they got a couple guys here and there, but it just seems like they're just trying to just plug guys in wherever and then just kind of hope it works out. And I don't know. I think it takes a little bit to get some team chemistry. So I'm going to take the under on that one.
Rams, 10.5 wins.
I'm going to take the over on that.
Over 10.5.
I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to win 11 or 12.
Okay.
I'm going to take that because they haven't really lost too many notable guys. And they still have their coach, which is arguably their biggest asset. What remains to be seen, how Gurley plays this year, if they can stay healthy. But you look at their division, not too much competition out there in the West. You know, they went to the Super Bowl last year. I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to be a decent team. Do I see them going to the Super Bowl again? No, it's tough to go back. 2 years in a row.
Especially after losing.
I'm going to take the over. I still think they're going to have a good year.
Okay. Jacksonville Jaguars, 9.5 wins.
Ooh. That's a tough one because they kind of
new quarterback.
They disappointed this year. They had a lot of ups and downs last year. They just couldn't get it together. This one's tough.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stick with the under.
Okay. 9 wins.
Because 9 or under. Just because we saw how much dysfunction they had last year, and I don't see it getting too much better.
Okay, even with Foles.
And I honestly think that Bortles wasn't. I think that Bortles wasn't a bad quarterback.
Okay.
I think he took a lot more hate than he needed to.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna take the under there. I don't think Foles is that much of an improvement over Bortles. He is. Don't get me wrong. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Okay. He is an improvement, but I just don't like the dysfunction they had this past year.
Raiders, 8 wins.
I'm going to take the under on that as well. Okay. I just don't see it. There's, again, dysfunction. They probably have the most dysfunctional team in the league. We talked about it last week. They're going to be on Hard Knocks.
Which we'll get to.
The Hard Knocks is going to expose all the problems that they have. John Gruden we'll get to it, but he's going to be must-watch TV.
Yeah.
But the Raiders, I don't know, they have AB, Derek Carr. I don't think Derek Carr's a good quarterback. As we've said before, it's a quarterback league. Quarterbacks win you games. And I don't think Derek Carr is going to win them games, so I'm going to take the under on that.
Okay. Giants, we're going to excuse their win total. Over under 6.5 games until you see Daniel Jones.
Oh, man, that's another tough one. I want to take the under because normally you just want to ship the young quarterback in there. But there's something about the Giants and Eli Manning.
I think 2 Super Bowls does give you a little bit more leniency.
But they just can't seem to get rid of him. And,
yeah.
I mean, he's awful.
Yeah.
He can't throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They have Saquon, who might win them a few games, but I think I'm going to take the over on that one just because of how much the Giants love Eli Manning. And they're like, oh, yeah, he won. Just like you said, he won 2 Super Bowls. You know, it might have been like 10 years ago, but he won 2 Super Bowls.
Little less than that.
So I'm going to take the over just because they're
and it was only the 4th greatest comeback, right?
They're going to do all that they can to keep Eli Manning in there. So
okay.
I'm going to take the over.
Okay, this next one, and these are all my numbers. I make up the over-under win total. I'm not looking it up. This next one might kind of surprise people, but I'm going to say Bengals over-under 8.5 wins.
Under. No explanation. Bengals are terrible.
Really? Even with the new coach?
No, they're terrible.
Okay.
No explanation. Bengals are bad. Just like the Redskins.
Buffalo Bills over-under 8 wins.
Over.
Really?
I'm a big Bills guy.
Huge Bills
This
guy.
is a huge bias pick.
Yeah.
I got a lot of Buffalo fans.
Okay.
As do you.
Yeah.
I love the Bills.
No one circles the wagons like
No
the
one-
Buffalo Bills.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing like Bills Mafia.
Uh-huh.
If we were in Buffalo, this table wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
It would not have.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the over. Josh Allen, dual threat quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
This dude can run, he can throw. He's electric. He's got an electric arm. He looks good in shorts. He is going to be a great quarterback this year. I only expect them to go up. I'm taking the over.
This is not on my list. I'm just throwing it out there. Dallas Cowboys, 9.5 wins.
Who? I'm going to 9.5. I think they're going to go 9-7. So I'm going to take the under here, but that's going to be a close one.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys a little bit overachieved from last year. They got Amari.
Yeah.
They got the offense going.
Yep.
I like them. Shout out Kevin Brown.
K. Brown.
But I don't see them winning. They scraped 10 games last year and barely won 10 games, and they got to play the Giants twice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the under. I think they're gonna go 9-7.
Interesting take from Kevin Brown, our local Cowboys fan.
Okay.
And by local, I mean South Carolina. He also doesn't believe in Jason Garrett, just like me. He wants him gone. He thinks that the team is kind of young. The core is young, and that they should fire him and try to take some better coach. So, also Jason Garrett hater. Last one to wrap it up.
Wait, before we get off the Cowboys, I don't know if some of those young Ravens fans remember out there, but he was supposed to, after we fired Billick, that's who we wanted to coach the Ravens. We wanted
God.
Jason Garrett. He
God.
was like, at the time, he was the Sean
Sean
McVay
before
of the time.
Yeah.
Like, he was the hottest coach on the market.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm going to stay in Buffalo, wait until who was the coach? Was it it was Wade Phillips was the coach at the time for the Cowboys, I think.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm just going to wait till Wade gets fired and I'm going to be the coach of the Cowboys. And at the time, Ravens fans were bummed. We're like, all right, we'll go with this John Harbaugh guy.
Yeah, and no one knew who he was. Special team.
I know. And we'll look back on it. Thank the Lord.
Thank
the Lord it didn't happen.
Way
you know, as I like to say, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Jason Garrett, for staying with the Cowboys. We appreciate you.
Okay, last one. 49ers. 9.5 wins.
I'm going to take the under again.
Okay.
I feel like I've been smashing the under today.
Yep.
Came on, had a bad season last year. There was so much hype around him. No one knows. He's coughing up a storm. You want a cough drop?
Eventually.
Jimmy
doctors next week.
Jimmy Garoppolo. No one knows what the deal is with him. He used to go to New England, tore his ACL. Who knows what's going to happen with him? I mean, what do you think about the Niners? I feel like that's kind of that random team that people forget about.
I'm a big believer that Bill Belichick makes 99% of players better than they are.
Yeah.
You saw that with Matt Castle. He went to the Chiefs. He went to the playoffs once, got smoked by the Ravens, and you never heard of him again.
Yeah.
Garoppolo, it doesn't mean he's a terrible quarterback. I just think in New England, they set him up to succeed. And Kyle Shanahan's a good coordinator. I think he's going to get a lot out of him. But this top 10 fantasy quarterback, top 10 this all last year, I wasn't buying it. Thank goodness I didn't buy it. He got hurt. I'm gonna hold out until I see it. I think people are more in love with the GM and the coach than actually the players, and that's a problem because players win games, players play on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
So I am also not a believer. I would take the under as well, but it is what it is. Speaking of football, kind of changing the tide. Hard Knocks released that Oakland Raiders will be on Hard Knocks, and I think we're going to have some breakdowns of each episode of Hard Knocks. I'm excited about that.
Man.
Who are you most excited to watch on HBO's Hard Knocks?
They should honestly put Hard Knocks on E. Like, this is going to be Kardashian level entertainment.
Yes.
It's going to be
dramatic.
It's going to be dramatic.
Yep.
It's going to be Antonio Brown just, I mean, if you didn't think he loved the spotlight before, when he's got cameras in his face 24/7 on the field in practice, this guy is going to turn into he is a diva, but he's going to turn into a diva like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
This is going to be an absolute train wreck for the Raiders. And we're not surprised that John Gruden doesn't want it. John Gruden himself is going to be must-watch TV. And we talked about this before. They have just a ragtag ensemble of players.
It's wow.
Incognito, Vontaze Burfict, Antonio Brown. Who knows what we're going to get? All I can say is, if you thought the Browns were fun last year, if you thought Jameis eating W's the year before was unbelievable, this Hard Knocks is going to be must-watch TV.
I'm excited for it. I am actually excited for the dynamic of Antonio Brown and Vontaze Burfict. They said that they've kind of gone, they're good and stuff like that. As soon as they put some helmets on, there's a little bit of hitting. I'm excited to see that interaction. You saw Jarvis get mad at the corner last year. It kind of started a scuffle. It only takes Vontaze Burfict being Vontaze Burfict for something bad to happen. So I'm excited for that train wreck. I think John Gruden's going to give us a couple just great quotes that we can kind of take with us for the rest of our lives. So I'm excited for Hard Knocks. I'm excited for the speculation that everybody has for it.
August can't come soon enough. I'll tell you that.
Enough. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Bart Scott.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We're going to shift gears a little bit. We've been talking a lot about football. We haven't talked as much about basketball recently. Obviously, we got the finals on.
Yep.
We're not going to comment as far as the actual outcomes of the games because as we're taping this, we have Game 6 coming up
tonight.
And if we say anything now, it's going to be too late to even post anything. It's already going to happen. But the other night, Kevin Durant plays through the injury. There was some speculation before that people were a little disappointed he didn't come back earlier. We come to find out his injury was a lot worse than it was led on to be.
Yep.
He tears his Achilles Game 5 midway through the first half. John, what's your take?
I got a big take on this, and I
Okay.
think this is very original. Like, you probably haven't heard this take anywhere. It is my own. No ideas from anyone else. This injury was the best thing that could have happened to Kevin Durant's legacy. Maybe not financially, but his legacy. When he left the Thunder to go to Golden State, people saw him as a traitor. People saw him as just a weak competitor. People saw him as just a guy, all right, I'm just going to collect championships, guy who took the easy path, right? Yeah. That was his reputation, okay? We go back, he gets his championship, and now there's an opportunity, an elimination game, where he could have played for himself and just said, I'm not going to play in this game. I'm going to leave in free agency most likely. I'm going to sign a max deal somewhere and get paid. But he decides to forego all that risk, which he knew about. And he played and got injured. And so now what he's getting is he's getting sympathy from the fans, sympathy from pop culture, sympathy all over. And people are yelling at the Warriors and everybody else for him playing in this game. This is exactly what Kevin Durant needed. He's a thin-skinned guy who really cares what people think, and who doesn't, if we're being honest, right? Yeah. And now he gets this. Everyone is going to be on his side. Everyone's going to care for him. Everybody's going to see him as a selfless player. This is actually, long-term, the best thing that could have happened for his legacy. Now, we're not talking financially, because that's going to hurt probably his contract in the future.
Yeah.
But Kevin Durant will go down as a guy who's a team player, a guy who sacrificed for his teammates, and knowing the risk came into this. But for anyone to say, oh, we blame the Warriors or Kevin's foolish, blah, 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 let's be honest. You play to win championships and to get paid too, but you play to win championships, and there's a chance for your team to no longer be in the championship, and you make the decision if you're going to go in or not.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can say that there was outside pressure. You could say Warriors players wanted it, all that speculation. At the end of the day, Kevin is a basketball player. Kevin wanted to be out there. It stinks what happened. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
I still think he did the right thing by going out there, and it was the best thing for his legacy. And so long-term play, this was actually really good for him, even though he's injured. No one's rooting for that, of course. What do you think?
No, that's an interesting take, and I think the media in general just loves to play the blame game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
flipped.
Who are we going to look at? Whose fault is it?
Yep.
Is it the owner's fault, Kevin Durant's fault?
Yep.
I think in a situation like this, in a freak injury like this, I think there's just no one to blame. It just sucks. What happened. I think if he knew in his mind that, I mean, he knows his body best. If he didn't think he could play, he wouldn't have played. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have gone out and played. And I think if on the other side, the Warriors, if they knew that too, they weren't going to be the ones to force him out there.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this was a Kevin Durant decision. Mm-hmm. And you got to give him props. Whether he was healthy or not, we'll never know.
Yeah.
But he wanted
healthy enough
to play.
Yeah.
But he wanted to put it on the line. And I think in an NBA Finals series, you're going to want to do everything you can to play. And I think that's what he did. And I got to give him props for that. And as far as his legacy, what you're talking about, I think the series in general also kind of highlights, the Warriors did well previous series, but the Raptors, I mean, they're a great team. And everyone thinks the Warriors were the best team in the league, this and that with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's out, and they're having a tough time beating the Raptors. And that just shows you how much they actually needed Kevin Durant to play. And they won series in previous years. They beat LeBron. They did this. They did that. But Steph Curry and Klay Thompson have said it all along. We need Kevin Durant to win a championship. And they've said it over and over, even when Kevin Durant was out. They said before the series started, if we want to win this championship, Kevin Durant is going to have to play. And we've seen it this year. The Raptors have looked like the better team. And who knows what the outcome is going to be. Who knows what happens in these last two games. You know as you're watching this now, we don't. But it looks like the Raptors are the better team, and I think it makes Kevin Durant look good. Yeah. I think it would have made Kevin Durant look bad. They just went out and swept the Raptors, had no problem. Then it was, well, we didn't need Kevin Durant anyway.
Yep.
But I think this series, regardless of what happens, I think this series highlights that, okay, Kevin really put them to that next level and elevated their game. And he truly is one of the top 5 players in the world, I believe.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, and I just think no one is rooting for him to get hurt.
Oh, no.
But looking after the fact, this isn't a terrible thing that happened to him in the long-term perspective. I think it showed, like you said, his added value to Golden State, his mindset as a player, his mindset as a teammate, his mindset as a competitor. And I hate that before he was not playing, everyone was like, where's Kevin? Like, he needs to push through it. And then he gets hurt. And now they're like, why would the Warriors do this?
Yeah.
You should have looked out for himself. And it was like, what the heck? Like, all of ESPN was saying one thing, and then they just jump ship.
There were literally, before Game 5, there were reports, supposedly from the Warriors, that they were disappointed that Kevin hadn't come back yet.
Yeah.
And it made it seem like Kevin was the one that was holding out. He wanted to look good for free agency, didn't want to get hurt. All that is BS.
Yeah.
He put it on for his team. He went out and he didn't prove, but he went out and showed, like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And unfortunately, it ended with torn Achilles.
And maybe, just maybe, this is what they needed to happen to kind of help them get an edge, help them kind of remain focused. Because here's the reality. We can talk about, athletes, they get paid to do this. They shouldn't need an extra edge. They shouldn't need motivation. We can talk about all you want. But once you've already done it, once you've already accomplished your goal, it's a lot harder to be just as hungry. It's just what it is.
Definitely.
And so this gives them the hunger that they potentially need to potentially go on a little 3-game winning streak and win it all. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, well, that's all for Backyard Trash Talk, Week 11. We're excited for things to come. Take care.
See ya.